Hello, Ed, my man. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Elisha.
Beautiful.
Nice to chat to you.
Yeah, thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, my man, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, Ed, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest that in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, at some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Ed, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, my man, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, Ed. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day, and I was so excited. Here is my point: the fact that
That's a great,
you,
it's a great
yeah,
story.
man, yeah, man, the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Ed that you are today. That alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to you, the fruit of all that you're doing. Your philosophies, your insights, your journey, your work, the impact your work is having, and how you are offering your solutions, my man. This stuff's so beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, Ed, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Ed is doing. And not only me now, because I don't want to look selfish, and even with the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Ed. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about. Thanks so much, my man.
No, it's okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. That's quite an intro, but I'll try and live up to it.
I trust you, man. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Ed, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Ed, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge alone, but the application of it. And you see, my man, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the incredible head on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, high opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, my man, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Ed, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your
Sure.
personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Ed got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Ed, my man, over to
Okay.
you.
Cool. Well, thanks very much. My name's Ed Howard. I'm the founder of Kokoro Business Performance, which is a consultancy based out here in Singapore. And I'm just in the pre-launch phase for my kind of startup, which is a kind of learning ecosystem. So it's a book called One Breath Leadership. And alongside that will be an app that people can use to be coached by an AI coach to help them learn the ideas and the concepts and practice them. And then along with that, I'll be doing some kind of speaking and seminars and so on to kind of help spread the word around. What you were talking about with the darkness and light immediately kind of resonated with me because certainly in Eastern traditions, and the part of the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing is I lived in Japan for 5 years after I left university, and then I've been in Singapore for almost 10 years. So I've spent more than half my adult life almost in Asia, despite coming from just outside Liverpool in England. For a long time, I've been interested in Asian philosophy, whether it be kind of Indian or Chinese or Japanese. And during my time in Japan, I became particularly interested in Zen. And so I've been studying Zen for 30 years. Started off in a very kind of Japanese way. I've studied with masters in the US and the UK as well. And so what I'm doing really is a distillation of my understanding or learning of that tradition alongside my experience working in first in the legal industry and then in the finance, banking and consultancy industry. So what I was really interested in doing, especially in the current climate, is helping people find something that will help them with their anxiety or with their stress levels, because that's certainly a big problem. You know, in a lot of societies at the moment, and then also on top of that, help them think more clearly and help them to understand who they really are, what their purpose is, and then give them some tools of how to kind of surf the waves of life, because you know, it doesn't matter who you are or what background you've come from or what culture you've come from. You're going to have things in life that bring you a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure. And you're also going to find things where you get stuck and you know, you suffer a little bit. So all of that has kind of been distilled into one idea and one technique. And then, you know, the purpose of the book and the app and the whole ecosystem is to help people build on that from that kind of starting position. So it's kind of stripped back. You know, it is basically a meditation, but it only takes one inhale and one exhale, and then you take it from there. So, you know, I know it's worked for me, and I know it's worked for clients of mine. So, you know, it's time for me to kind of put it out there and see if other people get as much from it as I have.
That's amazing, my man. And thank you for the wonderful stuff you're doing, helping people manage and overcome anxiety, helping individuals discover who they are. That's a beautiful one, and I appreciate that. So there is a spot I'm so curious about, all right? So, yeah, what inspired the idea that one breath can change everything?
It's a good question, really, and I'll be honest with you, it happened by accident. So, I'd written a couple of sort of outlines for books and so on, based on the work that I'd been doing and the study that I'd been doing, and then because certainly if you study Zen in Japan, you aren't given a lot of instruction. You're shown how to sit down. You're shown how to get your posture there, and then you're kind of left to work it out for yourself. But certainly as as somebody from England and from that kind of background and education, it's our nature to ask why and to question these things. So that process, and it may be because I didn't ask very good questions, that process took a long time. It probably, almost 30 years. But the way that I did it was kind of strip it back to three main points. And these things are written in old texts in Zen. They're written even earlier than that in India, going back 10,000 years. But like anything, if you've never heard something before and then it resonates with you, you feel like you've discovered the universe or you've discovered things for the first time. So, for your listeners, I'll just give you the very basic way to do this. And the first part is your breath. You breathe in for 6 through your nose, down. So a reasonably deep breath down, keep your mouth shut, and down to about 2 fingers below your belly button. And that process on its own has a lot of benefits. It will trigger what's called your parasympathetic nervous system, which is calming. So if you have anxiety or you're stressed, the process of doing that with your body consciously will send a message to your brain to switch into a calm state or a more relaxed state. And then the second part is the mind, and this comes straight from Zen. And there's a lot more to say about this, but I know we're quite short on time. But rather than just breathe in for 6 into your lower belly and then out for 6 through your nose, follow your breath with your mind as it comes through up into your nose and down into the back of your throat, and then down and down and down, and then follow it back up. And that's kind of the first thing that you get taught in most practices. But the actual process of consciously following it gives your mind something to do. So you hear a lot of people struggle with, they try to meditate and they're just breathing and they're listening to somebody and so on. And then they're, in Buddhism, you often hear it called the monkey mind. As soon as you start to breathe, you start thinking about like the email you've got to send or what you want for dinner, or, you need to like do your laundry or you need to take your kids to school, whatever it is. So by following your breath, you're kind of giving your monkey something to do. And so that part is your mind, and part 3 is your attention. So your attention stays with your breath down to your belly, and then back up again. So if anyone can do that for just one breath, and that, in my experience and from teaching it to other people, they can hold that for one breath, and that makes them feel like, I can do this. This is not as hard as meditation. This is not as hard as sitting down for 20 minutes or what have you. And they also find, because I've told them that it relaxes them and it sends a message to their brain, they also find almost immediately that it'll relax them. And so what happens when, because humans are quite basic, when you do something and you feel a result straight away, you want to do it again. So what I talk about in the book is how you can build that into your day if you're working in a bank or in a shop, or you're harvesting mangoes, is how to build that process into your day. And then from there, the kind of part 4 is the taking action. So I go into a lot more detail then about what you can actually do with that process, because once you are able to do that, you're also able to be aware of what your mind is doing at any one time, whether you're angry or whether you're nervous or whether you're anxious. And so by being aware of that and understanding it, you can then decide which gear you want to shift into. So, do you want to act with peace? Do you want to act with forgiveness? Do you want to act with clarity? Do you just want to listen to the person that you're with or talking to? Because sometimes that's the most appropriate action. But just by opening that little bit of space up for, 6 in and 6 out, so 10 seconds, 12 seconds, people find that it changes the way that they feel in a situation, and it changes their ability to shift gears and act in the way that they want to act, that they want to be in any particular situation. So that's the kind of very basic bit. The book and on the website onebreathleadership.com, there's some free stuff in the top right hand corner. If you go to the website, I go into some more detail there, and there's a chapter of the book and so on, if people are interested, especially if your listeners are interested. And then the plan is to kind of release everything in kind of late February, March next year. So yeah, that's kind of it. And that's the sort of starting point, and hopefully people can try that and see whether it makes a difference.
I tell you, this is really unique and sounding very effective, like a very effective approach. Thank you so very much for discovering this beautiful stuff. So finally, if listeners could adopt one habit today, what should it be?
Taking one breath at a time, living one breath at a time. There's there's a saying, and I'll probably misquote this, but that there's no such thing as the past, and there's no such thing as the future. All we really have is this moment now. But our minds spent so much time in the past with, memories or regrets or wishing you'd done something differently. And we also, especially in kind of modern hustle culture or entrepreneurial culture, we spend a lot of time in the future, dreaming of things and making goals and so on. So, this is, if I can have two things, because I'm cheeky by nature, one will be to breathe properly, and two is to spend some time every day in the moment. And I think what you'll find is it'll make you clearer in terms of, your business or your job, or, how you are with your family or your kids and so on. And it's so simple that it's almost embarrassing when I'm talking about it, but part of its simplicity is what makes it, so useful and so powerful. So, it would be those two things, I think.
Amazing, amazing. And that's a great one. I got that. So that's going to be the end of the show. And so for folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about the wonderful stuff you're doing, or make a purchase of your wonderful book, how can that be possible?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn, Ed Howard, or my company's name is Kokoro, Kokoro Business Performance. Those are both on LinkedIn. Or you can go to the website onebreathleadership.com. And as I said, in the top right hand corner, there's some free stuff, to help promote the book. there's a summary and there's a few chapters and there's like an assessment and a couple of other bits and pieces as well. So by all means, help yourselves to those, and then we'll let you know when the book is due to come out. But yeah, please get in touch. I'd love to hear from anyone, and I'm always happy to have a little chat over email if you've got any questions.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much, my man. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for coming, Ed, and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot, man. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's great to meet you, Elisha. Thanks very much.